Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, November 7th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, MTC, big mover today, and now we have ourselves a good quality pattern. So let's get this pattern drawn in a play here. So we have this area of resistance right here. And then bottom part of the pattern, we have this area of support right here. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our area of support. Area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the big upwards move right there. And this would be called a bull flag pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because something's in a bullish pattern does not mean that for sure guaranteed if the price, consolidates out, comes up here and breaks through there, that it's going to make a big break. No guarantees. But my point is it valid? Is it at least a rational question I'll throw out there as a possibility? Absolutely. So if you like bull flag patterns, you like stocks down in this price range below $5, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, WORX. Nasty day today when you stop and really think about it. Gap up, huge move up, nasty dump back to the downside. And then the price has now started to go sideways. And this is where things get interesting. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there's been a big dump and just because the price is now going sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed the dump is over and for sure guaranteed it's going to go back up. But it goes back to the whole idea of, is it at least plausible? Is it rational to think that the pullback is over and that maybe, just maybe, this is going to happen? Absolutely. Case in point, let's just say that the price was still just dropping. And I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, well, based on what? It's still going down. But that's not the case here. It has at least started to go sideways. Again, does that mean that the pullback is over? Does it mean that it's leveling out and going to maybe try to curl back upwards? Doesn't mean any of that. But it just goes back to that idea of it's certainly plausible. So if you like these situations where things are looking pretty rough, but then there's starting to be some indicators that maybe the roughness is over and maybe the price is about to turn around and you like penny stocks, keep an eye on it. Next one here, ASST, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you if you've watched past videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that red line up there as resistance at $1.59, and that is exactly where earlier on in the day the price found some resistance right up around that general area. So keep an eye on that from more so the bigger picture vantage point in terms of areas of resistance. In the near term, though, I think the key level to watch very closely is now going to be this trend line right here. You can see that it's been doing a very accurate job of just kind of showing where the selling pressure has been. I'll change it up just to make it stand out a little bit more. So in the near term, that's definitely the first key battleground that needs to be cleared from the resistance standpoint. And with the clearing up above there, then the $1.59 mark again becomes more so the overarching key level from the resistance side of things. In terms of levels of support, I don't want to call it a do or die level, but certainly a very, very important level going to be now that purple line down there, which is the 50-period moving average, right now valued at, we'll call it $1.36. So if this movement does come on down further, that would certainly be the ideal level that you'd want to see hold strong in order for the chart to overall look the strongest. But if the price does fall below it again, not the end of the world. You still do have, the gap close location around $1.26, which could provide support. But a much more kind of do or die level would be that pink line down there, the 200-period moving average at $1.15, but self-admittedly, the price isn't anywhere close to that pink line. So in that sense, that level is pretty irrelevant right now. But as of now, yes, keep an eye on these battlegrounds, and we'll see if the price can try to push up through those areas of resistance. Next one here, looking at YGMZ, and pretty rough movement depending on where you're at in terms of your strategy. If you're a day trader and you bought right there, or you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within a few minutes, and then from that angle, things are looking very rough. There was this bigger pullback. But from the overarching standpoint, the price does still have the opportunity to build a higher base, and that is where this level here comes into play in the sense of, again, assuming you care about the bigger picture, 16.5 cents, very, very important. So far, so good. The price has bounced off there. I guess didn't hit it exactly there, but close a couple of times. Because if the price does continue to do that, then from, again, emphasis on bigger picture, from the bigger picture standpoint, you can still make the argument that you have a set of lows right here. You have this previous set of lows down here, and if you envision each of those as stair steps, well, hey, you still have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. So that is why, to me, 16.5 cents, very important because that represents the progress point, if you will, where as long as the price stays above there, then you can argue the price is showing some signs of progress. In regards to levels of resistance, just keep an eye on that pink line right there, that 200-period moving average, which was essentially where the price has been getting broken and shoved back below every time the price gets around that area, currently valued at, we'll call it 0.214. So keep an eye on that. But overall, it still got some potential. It still has the opportunity to build that higher base, so we'll see if the price can get that job done or not moving forward. Next one, NVDA, and the bleeding continues. Now, today was a big event in the world of charts because the price has broken down below that pink line there, which you now know is that very important 200 period moving average. And while that doesn't mean that everything is epically destroyed and that NVIDIA, I'm not saying it's dramatic. I'm just saying in the world of charts that when the price does break below that 200 period moving average, it is considered a significant event. So moving forward, and this is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. But the sooner the price can get back above that pink line, the better. And again, current value of that area right there at 192.85. So keep an eye on that if there is any sort of attempted bounce. In terms of next potential areas of support, it has definitely been multiple weeks since the price has been down this low. But next key area of support that I'd keep a close eye on, right down here around the 183.75 mark. So I'm not saying it's headed down there, but with this kind of rollover late day today, especially if it comes down there and violates those lows right there, again, no guarantees, but at that point, I don't think anybody would be shocked to see it, bare minimum, go down to 183.80. But yeah, today, rough day here for NVIDIA. Real quick, want to take a break and help you solve some very common problems out there. One of them being you would like to be a day trader, but you can't. I am defining day trader as having unlimited day trades every single day. But because of the pattern day trade rule, you're just not able to do so. Well, please realize there is another market out there, and there is another strategy that can be used that were for very little amounts of money. So in other words, very little risk. You can actually become a day trader and have unlimited day trades every day. But I do understand if this sounds too good to be true, what's the catch? Which is why I'm inviting you. Come watch it with your very own eyes. It's what I've been doing, and I put my money where my mouth is, and you can see it with your very own eyes on the live stream. So I start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern, and I go for a few hours. So if you're curious, if you want to see it with your own eyes, if you want to ask me questions, then definitely get to the live stream. Next one here, BIYA, an interesting situation and kind of hard to talk about because it's about perspective. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought here and your plan was to buy and sell within a few moments, well, I'm going to sound crazy calling this a pretty interesting looking situation because you're really far underwater. But this is an overall very interesting situation. Again, big move up, nasty move down, but hey, surprise, surprise, look right where it found some support at that pink line, which I've talked about in these other stocks. So good to see that it found some support here. And even now, it's starting to work its way back upwards. Now, does all this guarantee that without doubt, no question about it, a bigger explosion is coming? Of course not. But it does become way more of a valid possibility in terms of a scenario. So from that angle of things, looking like the main area of resistance, if there is going to be any sort of pop back to the upside, right there at the 49-cent mark. Again, a break of 49 cents guarantees nothing, but I think it makes it very valid as an area that, puts into play the idea that it's pulled back, it's leveled out, and now it's going to try to curl back upward. So can it get the break of 49 cents, and does that create upside buying pressure? We'll see what happens. Next one here, BYND. Very, very cruel day when you just stop and think about it. That opening 30 minutes there, very impressive spike. You got to think that probably built up the hopes and dreams of several people out there, only for that. And think about it, where did this movement start? Because I'm trying to, how rough was it? This movement started right here. But not only after that movement happened, did the price go back to where it started, that blue line, it just kept going. So truly a cruel, cruel day, and one that is showing that the bears are definitely very strong here in BYND. So from the overarching standpoint in regards to areas of resistance, continue to watch that purple line there. That 50 period moving average has a very strong downward slope to it. And sure, the price did get a spike up above it, but that didn't last very long before the price was right back below it. And then you can see essentially right there, went back to acting as resistance. So moving forward, right there around $1.34, going to be that key battleground resistance-wise. In terms of areas of support, no need for fancy logic. Just ask the question, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And the bleeding finally stopped right there at $1.19. So for that reason alone is where you'd want to see if the price continues to stay above that area. But all in all, yeah, definitely a very cruel day. Next one here, BULL, and overall, rough-looking chart. It is trying to bottom out to give credit where credit's due, and that is where this area of support comes into play, right here at $9, and we'll call it 55 cents. Going through the history of things, you can see that the area right there, to give credit where credit's due, the buyer showed up. And then even today, once again, price there, the buyer showed up. So now we have a couple scenarios. Maybe this is some sort of double bottom, but as this thing rolls back over, I think the question now becomes, are we looking at maybe a potential triple bottom, where it comes down here, finds some support, and then maybe gets the move right there? Once more, I'm not saying this is guaranteed to happen. It's all possibilities based on, the patterns. And in this specific case, what is known as a triple bottom perspective. So if the price comes down here, 955-ish becomes a very interesting level. On the same token, if the price comes down here and then just blasts down through there, that's not a good sign at all, because now all of a sudden, this previous level that had been doing a good job of holding has failed miserably. And from a bullish standpoint, that's the exact opposite of what you want to see. If there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, then like some of these other charts, main battleground to watch right now is that purple line 50-period moving average, currently valued at $9.92. Next one here, SNAP Snapchat. And we kind of talked about this already in terms of an interesting scenario, but big move up, pretty nasty pullback. Now all of a sudden, not only has the price gone sideways, but it's gotten a little bit of an upwards angle. And I know I'm going through this quicker, but you've already heard me say all this, so I want to respect your time. So does that mean that it's a guarantee to curl back upwards? It doesn't, but it does make it more plausible. And definitely a very interesting area of resistance right here at basically $8.20. Price has been around here several times, rejected there. Didn't hit it exactly right there, but, generally speaking, rejected there. And then generally speaking again several more times. So while that doesn't guarantee anything, if the price can curl back upwards and can get the break up through $8.20, it becomes a very valid question of, could that produce that much more upside buying pressure? So keep an eye on that. And then in regards to areas of support, just keep an eye on these moving averages that I've talked about in some of these other charts. We have both these key areas here. Pink line, is a 200-period simple moving average, purple line being the 50-period moving average. If the price were to come down there and, just blast down below both of those, that would definitely not be a good sign at all from the bullish side of things. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and overall a rough day, but to get some credit where credit's due this afternoon, nice little bounce here, although as I speak, it's starting to roll back over here a little bit, but overall, definitely, I'm sure if you're bullish, I can speak for you. You'd much rather see the price up around this area of the chart as opposed to closing right down here, or who knows, even lower than that. But yeah, nice little bouncer underway. So moving forward, the level that I would consider very important, at least in regards to this bounce, is this level right here at 442. And the reason being, and I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down to 442 and then drop down below there, what all of a sudden do you have at that point? You quite literally have the price going right back to where it was. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make nice bounces and then go right back to where they started, not exactly a sign of a genuine bounce or a true bounce. Now on the flip side of things though, because nothing can go straight up, if the price were to come down here, behave like that, and then start to curl back upwards, now all of a sudden what do you have? Well, you have a set of lows right here. You have those lows right there. And if you envision those as stair-steps, you have the stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction. So 442 is what I would call the progress point, meaning as long as the price stays above there, then you can make the argument that the price is actually making upwards progress. So 442, very important for that reason. If the bounce does continue, then like a lot of these other ones, key area to watch from a resistance standpoint, that purple line right there, 50-period moving average currently valued at 454.85. So yes, nice bounce right now in Tesla. Is this a truly strong bounce? Let's see if the price can at least show some signs of progress. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you are somebody that is sick and tired of the pattern day trend rule, maybe you just want a market that moves better than penny stocks, better than low floats, which may sound crazy, but I'm telling you the market here that I've been trading moves even better than penny stocks and low floats and small caps and all of that. So it's worth certainly checking out, especially when you consider the lower amount of risk you have because it's got a lower amount of money needed. And then you have no pattern day trend rule, and you can make as many day trades as you want every single day. But I understand if you're skeptical, which is why I say come swing by the live stream, watch it with your very own eyes, ask me any sort of questions that you may have. So thanks for hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.